Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We begin with breaking news. Police are on the scene of a homicide investigation. 17's Raphael Stroud is on scene. Raph, what can you tell us right now?
Hey, good afternoon, Nicole. Here's what we know so far. Bakersfield police got an emergency call about a man running around on Candy Street covered in blood. Officers responded but found the man barricaded himself into a bedroom. Once they got inside that home, they found a dead female inside. We do not know the age of the victim just yet, but they said they tased the man and took him into custody. He is being treated at a local hospital, and the department says that is routine when they tase somebody or use that kind of force. They're still investigating exactly what happened, so we don't know what the motive was just yet. We also don't know what the motive was between the victim and the suspect. Anybody with more information about what happened here should call BPD at 327-7111. In Bakersfield on Ford Avenue, I'm Raphael Stroud for 17 News.
All right, thanks for that, Raph. And more breaking news this hour just into our newsroom. 2 pilots are safe after their plane crashed near Edwards Air Force Base this morning. Just after 10 a.m., a non-military Impala MB-326 jet trainer originating from the Mojave Air and Spaceport crashed approximately 10 miles northwest of Edwards Air Force Base. According to a statement from the National Test Pilot School in Mojave, the aircraft had 2 aircrew members on board during a test training flight. Both ejected safely before the aircraft went down. The National Transportation Safety Board has been notified. And now police are investigating an assault on an officer that lands a suspect behind bars. The Bakersfield Police Department says it happened Wednesday night in central Bakersfield. BPD says the suspect, 50-year-old Daryl Smith, tried to hit a patrol car on Oak Street and California Avenue, including going in front of the car and backing up. Other BPD officers tried to stop Smith's car, but he refused. Officers used tire deflation devices to get Smith's car to stop and had to use foam baton rounds to shatter the window after Smith refused to get out of the vehicle. Smith is being charged with aggravated assault on a peace officer, including multiple other charges. Now to the next step in getting students back into the classroom across the state. This morning, Governor Newsom signed the $6.6 billion package to accelerate the safe return to in-person instruction. AB 86 includes expanding support systems for academic and mental health, even over the summer. Under AB 86, all public schools must offer in-person instruction to all students in K through 2nd grade and students with high needs in all grade levels by the end of March. If a school does not follow suit on that, they will lose 1% of eligible funds every day until they get their students back into the classroom. Now, counties in the red tier must offer instruction for all elementary students, along with one middle or high school grade, or risk the same penalty. And a follow-up now to a story we brought you yesterday. We now know which areas in Kern will be impacted by the governor's new plan to allocate more COVID vaccine doses to the state's most vulnerable communities. The governor's plan calls for 40% of all new COVID vaccine doses to be allocated to 400 vulnerable zip codes, impacting some 8 million people. Metrics used to determine which zip codes falls into the vulnerable category includes household income, education level, housing status, and access to transportation. Areas included in the 400 impacted zip codes include Arvin, Lamont, Delano, Shafter, California City, Boron, and parts of Bakersfield, including the Northeast, East, and downtown. Zip codes that will not be included in the plan include parts of West Bakersfield and Seven Oaks, along with Tehachapi. 17's Eitan Wallace will have a full recap this evening at 5 p.m. And this comes as more states are lifting its mask mandate, as Texas and now Alabama set end dates for their statewide mask mandates. In all, 17 states will not require face coverings. And while new case numbers were dropping, the rollbacks come as the country has been plateauing between 60 to 70,000 new cases a day. Now, businesses are left to decide how to reopen. Many big retailers will still make customers mask up, but one of Texas' largest grocery chains will only require employees to wear masks and strongly encourage shoppers to do the same. And the Texas Restaurant Association, which represents over 40,000 eateries, is also advising patrons to keep masks on. Now, the director of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is urging Americans to continue wearing masks, saying we're not there yet. Now to new coronavirus numbers from Kern Public Health. Our death toll continues to climb. 13 new deaths were announced today. The death toll is now 937, but new cases continue to decline. 163 new cases were also reported today. Nearly 7,000 residents are recovering at home with the virus. 135 people are in the hospital with more acute symptoms, according to state data. 40 people are in the ICU. We haven't seen a number this low since last month. Well, as the vaccine rollout continues and includes a wider swath of people, it's important to know if you qualify. As of now, we are still in phases 1A and 1B. Those eligible include anyone ages 65 or older, healthcare workers and first responders, plus teachers, childcare workers, those in emergency services, and people who work in the food and agriculture industry. And if you are in one of those eligible groups, you can sign up for a vaccine appointment using the state's website, myturn.ca.gov. You can also call 833-422-4255 to schedule an appointment. So now to your 17 Health Watch. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. This month is used to shed light on a type of cancer that isn't talked about as often as it probably should be. 130,000 people are diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and about 50,000 die from this cancer each year. Colorectal cancer is a cancer of the colon and rectum, and it's a lot more common than people think. Last year, actor Chad Boseman lost his battle to colon cancer at 43 years old. Normally, it's recommended that screenings begin at 50 years old. However, if there is a family history of colorectal cancer or advanced symptoms, then it's suggested that screenings begin sooner.
We're not quite certain why we're seeing it in early ages now. And you're absolutely correct. The current age is 50 to start screening. However, we are slowly moving that to 45. African Americans, however, have a higher risk for colon cancer, and typically we start at age 45 in that population.
Screenings can show a number of things, including polyps. Polyps are abnormal tissue growth that can form in the colon, but if caught early through screenings, they can be removed. If the polyps aren't caught in time, they can progress and turn into cancer. And today marks National Dress in Blue Day in honor of those who've suffered through the disease. Taking a look ahead, the California Living Museum is set to reopen this weekend, but do expect some changes. After closing for a couple of months amid the pandemic, Calm has received the green light to reopen, and they just couldn't be happier. Since Kern County is in the purple tier, the Reptile House, the California Coast Room, and the train are closed at this time. Now, you must practice social distancing and wear a mask. The zoo opens tomorrow at 9 a.m. and will be open Wednesdays through Sunday. If you want to learn more, I checked out Calm for this week's Pop Kern. If you'd like to check that out, head to our social media pages at KGET. And the Tohono Outlets is hosting another Cinema Under the Stars this weekend. It's a free screening of a Disney movie, plus a night of shopping and enjoying treats from local food trucks like Pita Paradise and Michelangelo's Wood-Fired Pizza. Tohono Outlets says a portion of the food truck sales will be donated to Northwest Baseball. It's happening tomorrow, and gates open at 5 p.m. Now tonight, you can catch another movie over at the Sam Lynn Ballpark. They'll be playing Angels in the Outfield. The movie will start at 7 and gates open at 6 p.m. It's $20 per car, and they accept both cards and cash. Sam Lynn is located at 4001 Chester Avenue.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.